Amazingly, in my work, God is so much involved, because even the styles, I don't take credit for being the creative, because most of the times He gives me the design, the fabric to use. So I rarely get to meet with clients who put me in that spot, because also they know who you are, they know what you do, so it's kind of hard. And if somebody comes and I find this outfit doesn't speak who I am, I just decline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it doesn't speak who I am,
Yes.
and I don't feel like this is going to communicate what I want to communicate, I just decline kindly. I'll try advice otherwise, but if the client is not settled, because I can't force somebody,
True.
I just decline and say, this one I don't think I'm able to.
Okay. That is a very principled move, if we're being honest. Hello, my name is Turife, and this is The Millennial Mind, a show where we highlight and focus on women in business who are pretty much killing it. I don't think there's a better term to describe what we're doing. People who are just very impactful in what they do, and they are killing it. And today we're going to be having Dorcas Elisha. I don't know if those are your real names, but she'll tell us. She'll tell us for real. Because as much as women are focused, in business and everything, appearance is one of those things you just can't compromise with. And talking to us today about appearance and design and how to look good as you're doing what you do, we have our lovely guest. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you for having me.
Please introduce yourself, your name, and what you do.
So I'm Dorcas Mave. M-A-V-E. Elisha is my husband's name.
Oh, okay. Love that.
Yeah. So that's my name, and I'm a fashion designer. I'm a mother of two pretty girls. Well, yeah. That's
you look
am.
so young. You just look like you're 10 years old.
Oh, no.
You really do look young. No one would say at face value that, she has 2 kids, she's a mom, she's a wife. Yeah.
Yeah, I got married when I was 22. Yeah, so maybe that's why, I don't know. But yes, I'm a mom and a wife.
Awesome. So tell us about how you found yourself designing clothes, or just pretty much in the design industry or fashion industry.
So let me just go back a bit. Growing up, when I would be asked, what do you want to become? I used to say I want to be a tailor. So I didn't know it was so serious, that it was so within me. So growing up, I would go shopping, and I never used to find things that I really like. They were just similar. Everywhere you're going, people are wearing the same thing, and it wasn't like things that were wowing me within my budget. And so I remember there's a day I went to town and I was buying a dress, a black dress, and they were so boring. And I said, this is the last time. I'm going to start making my own outfits. Yeah, so I started making with my hands without a machine. I'll just cut, hand stitch, and make something, and I'm out. Yeah. So I'll make most of my outfits just because I want it to be different and not look the same way. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're wearing today, it's very beautiful. Is it your handiwork?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So now tell us now the transition from, you've already had this dream, you know what you want to do, you've gotten to the market and you've realized it's not as creative as you'd like it to be. The pieces that are available, it's just monotone. Everyone has it. You look like a school uniform, but you want something different for you. So now, how did you now formulate? It's now a plan in your head. It's something you want to do, and then now you're doing it on your own. How did you start commercializing on this passion that you had?
So actually, my business has not been there like as a business for that long. It's been like 2.5 years only, and after I got married and gave birth to our firstborn, I was pregnant with the second. I felt like taking a quick course, which was just like 1 week old, before I gave birth. And immediately after that, my sisters, they'll be like, our sister makes clothes. So their friends would come, they themselves would come, so I would make for them and they would pay me just to motivate me to make. So that's how I started making money out of it. From friends, from my siblings' friends, from my friends, the church people. Yeah.
Oh,
that's how I started.
That's awesome. It's just word of mouth and referrals from friends and family.
Yes, basically. And also wearing what I make. Because now when I've worn it and I go to church, who made your clothes? I'm like, I did it.
Best
oh,
advertiser.
yeah. Yeah, so they would come.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you have mentioned that it was it's been 2.5 years.
Yes.
So are we saying that this was a COVID baby? Your business was a COVID baby?
Yeah, right when COVID was ending. Because my baby was around 4 months old at that time when we moved from where we were staying and coming. And the first work I ever did was making 2 dresses for some 2 sisters for a wedding. And after that, their church had a worship experience, and they're like, we know someone.
Yes.
So I made a bulk for like 15 people. Yeah, and I was paid. I was like, okay, this is not bad. I can actually do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, it's been 2.5 years and it's been quite an interesting journey because it's grown way too fast. Yeah.
Okay. We have seen you work with, quite some reputable names. So now you've been it's your close circle of friends who are, giving you orders, friends of friends. It's just a small village you're working with at this point. So now how did you start working with celebrities and designing for them and styling them?
Okay, so I remember I also did a very big group of people, a choir from Nairobi Chapel. It's okay to mention.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just got a call. We've heard about you and we'd like you to come and make for us outfits for our worship experience. And I was like, okay, fine. Those were like around 45 outfits. And I went and did it. After that, because I'm friends with some people, I'm friends with some people who are in the gospel industry, and I know them. So Masi Masika was doing a live recording, and because we are also in the same group, she's a friend, and also she knew I make clothes, and they needed some outfits for the live recording, and they called, like, can you help out here? And I was like, yeah, sure, I can. So most of the times, I can't say I am that good at advertising myself. Most of the times, it just comes.
Yeah. But you need to learn. In this world, you really need to put yourself out there and your dream out there.
I'm learning. But my husband is really good at speaking about it. He'll think he's the one that makes the clothes.
Yeah. He will sell you.
Yeah,
he say,
really does.
My wife designs this.
Yes, he really does. And then he's good with the graphics. So he will create stuff out of the clothes I've made and send me clips. You post this one.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, he'll create a brochure, something, and he'll be like, this is good, what do you think? Post it. So I will post, and he will always post on his statuses and on his pages. So it just goes.
At this point, he's your social media manager,
Clearly.
He's creating and coming up with content for you. And that is such an amazing thing to have such a supportive partner.
It really helps.
Yeah. And speaking of now expansion, you've started, it's small groups, you're on your own. You mentioned that you started with just hand stitching. So now you've realized that orders are coming in. It can be a bit overwhelming. How are you now adapting to all of this? There's now the need to buy machines. There's probably a need to hire somebody else to help out with all of these orders and all of these things that are coming with the business as it is growing and expanding. So now take me through that process from hand stitching to now requiring to make orders for up to 45 people at a time?
Yeah, so my mom had bought me a machine right before I left home, before I got married, because she realized it's something I like doing. So I started learning how to use the machine at home. So slowly I will learn. So when I got married, again something happened, because I'm a pastor's wife. So I took my clothes, you know those fitting clothes, I took them to a tailor to adjust, because I'd given birth, I added weight, so they were small. So when I took them, she told me, she adjusted it like wide. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to be fitting on my body. She said, no, you can't wear that because you're a pastor's wife. I was like, oh no.
It is so disheartening.
Yeah, so I was like, this is the last time. So I went and picked my machine from home. So I started using it, and slowly I got another one again from my mom, because she had bought like a couple of them. So I will use, and when I have like a lot of orders, we know each other in the clothes making industry. So you know there's this person who's good in this. So instead of focusing so much on working on something I'm not so good at, or maybe the order is a lot and the time is short, I involve those people I know. So I will pay per piece. Yeah, so I get and pay per piece. Yeah, and work with them. Yeah, just to reduce the load on me. Yeah, but most of the times I prefer doing the clothes on my own.
You prefer just
because there's a touch that somebody else doesn't have, that is for your
that.
business.
Yeah. Awesome. And you have mentioned that you're a pastor's wife, and there's a huge influence with Christianity and your walk of faith. Did that ever influence the type of clothes you make? Because I'm realizing that clients come from different walks of life. So did you at any point find yourself being influenced? As you mentioned, the tailor who you took your clothes from, she was like, he huwezi vaa kama bibi ya pastor. So do you ever find yourself conflicted by what the client wants versus what you feel would be right for them?
Amazingly, in my work, God is so much involved, because even the styles, I don't take credit for being the creative, because most of the times he gives me the design, the fabric to use. So I rarely get to meet with clients who put me in that spot, because also they know who you are, they know what you do. So it's kind of hard. And if somebody comes and I find this outfit doesn't speak who I am, I just decline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it doesn't speak who I am, and I don't feel like this is going to communicate what I want to communicate, I just decline kindly. I'll try advice otherwise, but if the client is not settled, because I can't force somebody,
True.
I just decline and say, this one I don't think I'm able to.
Okay. That is a very principled move, if you're being honest. And not many people will stand on business and actually do what they think is right. But you have, okay, in the 2.5 years that you've been officially in business, what would you say are some of those moments that have really stood out for you? The things you'd say, I think I am working in my purpose. I feel like I'm being fulfilled in everything I do. What are some of those key moments that have really stood out for you?
Well, let me just say, when I did the live recording outfits for Mercy Masika, yes, I know her, but they had someone that was making outfits for them, because now being in that place whereby I got called to make those clothes, for me it was like a moment of, okay, wow, God, you can trust me with this. So I normally don't take credit for all these things, because I believe my life is planned out by God, and he orders me into the places where I am supposed to be. And I take my work as also ministry, because it's not just work. I'm clothing somebody who's going to preach out the gospel. I'm clothing someone who's carrying something in them to give to the nation. So whatever they put on is also part of it. So for God to trust me to make that, up to today, it still dawns on me like, oh wow, I did that. Like God saw me worthy to participate in this manner. So And also I learned something. There's a place I made outfits for, and you know the way people give credits out, like shout out to the person did my hair, the makeup stylist, and they never gave me credit. But that's not about the Masi Masika's live recording, but somewhere else. But everybody else was like mentioned, and I was told we will mention you. What's your name? What's your business? And I felt really bad. I was like, why would you mention the name of somebody who made 5 outfits? And I made like around 45. And you said you were going to give me credit. And I was so mad. I cried that day. I was like, this is so bad. And I remember after some time, God told me, why did you want to take credit of something that you did not even advertise yourself for? Your work doesn't come from people speaking about you. I normally speak about you. So it doesn't matter who gives you credit and who doesn't. So I'm in that place where it doesn't matter whether I am recognized as a business or not, because I can't be stopped.
Okay, you're unstoppable at this point. And you have mentioned about credit, so it comes back to putting yourself out there and marketing yourself and working with notable figures. So as most small business do, sometimes when you're starting out, you want to collaborate with, you know, a huge figure, maybe dress them and then they give you credit. So you have mentioned a bad case of where, you know, this was the agreement beforehand and it was not fulfilled. Of course, it makes you feel a bit disheartened. And have you stopped now collaborating with other artists or other notable figures or even influencers because there's always the fear of they'll go back on their word?
For me, it kind of affected me at that point, because I lost the zeal. I felt like I've lost the zeal, because these were people I could trust, I trusted, and there was no even apology out of it. And in as much as, you know, making clothes have some issues here and there sometimes. And so I felt like, Lord, are you sure I'm supposed to be doing this? So I was so discouraged. And I don't look for the influencers. I don't look for people to advertise me. I don't care at this point. Because it's now above me, it's beyond me. So yes, I don't fear anything, but if it's an agreement that we've had, then you have to honor your part. And if you don't honor your part, I am not going to take any action per se as of now, because also I know that I am not depending on you to market my business. As long as I do a good job, it will be seen, and someone will tell someone, and someone will tell someone.
And now let's talk about the uncomfortable bit when it comes to businesses, which is finances. You started, you know, typically just how a small business starts. It comes with you realizing you have a passion for something, you put in the work, and then your friends, your family, you know, they put you out there. But as you're expanding, there's the need for money, and there's also money coming in. So how was that now journey for you? Now you're juggling being an accountant. You have to keep book of what you're doing. And sometimes when a lot of money comes, you're like, treat yourself. And then you forget to plow back into the business. So how was the financial journey for you? Or how has it been so far?
Well, I'm still struggling with that bit because sometimes, as I've said, my business has grown so fast. I wasn't ready, like as a human being, mentally, I wasn't like prepared, like this is what's going to happen. And so I make very many bad decisions.
But that's how we learn.
That's how we learn. So for me, I'm still trying and learning how to manage the finances, and also being bold enough to price what you have made, because you know what you've put in is also a struggle when you are growing, because you find you've invested in so much into it, and then maybe you meet with a client who's not seeing the value. So also being able to say, I know I can't sell it at that amount. I'd rather keep my outfit, put it on, instead of having to sell it. But that's also something that is coming with time, that actually I can decline. instead of making a loss.
Yes.
Before I will just go like, instead of it staying here, let me just take that little money that's being offered. But right now I'm in a place about no. If
Yeah.
it's not adding up and bringing in back my profit, then it wasn't worth it. Yeah.
And at this point, do you now have fixed prices for fixed pieces, or do you allow room to bargain, which is something that a lot of people really like doing? So do you just keep it at a fixed price and say, this is the fixed price, we're not moving from here, or what happens?
No, I don't have like a fixed price because I also know the kind of people I'm dealing with. So I give a price according to what I have put in the fabric, the time, the whatever I've spent on it. And also I give little room. I know I can't go below this. So even if we started, let's say, at around 12,000, I know I can't go below 11,000. So I give you that room. But if you want something below that, then I can gladly say, no, that doesn't add up. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to also make profit.
Yes.
So if it's not adding up when I've added everything and it's not adding up and that's the amount you want for, then maybe you can just go somewhere else.
Oh. Being a business person is difficult.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the challenges that you've experienced. You have mentioned your high points in the business where you felt you're very fulfilled. But what are the low points, or what are the challenges you experience as a woman in business, as a woman in the fashion industry, as a business person in the design industry?
So the first one is having children. When you have a child and you have work, and as I was saying, because my smallest baby is 2 and 9 months. So sometimes you are not able to work fully and concentrate, or you are forced to work through the night when they are asleep, because also the kids still need your attention.
True.
And I work from home. So you'll find they'll come, mommy, I need this, mommy, I need, you can't ignore them and just focus and continue. And sometimes you need to go, I need to go and shop for fabrics. I need to go out and do some things, and I need someone to watch the kids, somebody I can trust.
Yes.
And maybe be there to pick up the older one who's in school when I am not available. So those have been challenges. Sometimes the kids are sick and you have to stop the work, and having to explain it to clients,
yes.
Some of them do not get it.
Yeah.
And some of them,
I think it's not
it's
professional.
an excuse. Yes, it's
Yeah.
not professional. But you can't detach yourself from being a mom, a wife, and a designer at the same time. You have to manage all of them at the same time. And sometimes the family calls for your most of your attention. So you have to let the business go.
When
at
you're
times.
juggling all the balls, sometimes a few
One
drop.
will fall.
Yeah.
Some of them will just fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some clients will go hurt because maybe you're not able to meet a deadline because you had a baby who was unwell, or a baby who needed your attention, or there was a family matter to attend to, and you have to let it go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have mentioned sometimes you do collaborate with work with other people in the same industry, other tailors. So have you felt the need to now delegate some of these tasks? Because as you're expanding and as you're becoming bigger as a business, there's more of you that is needed.
Yeah.
And sometimes you find yourself being stretched a little bit too thin. So have you now started looking into, I think now it's time to delegate. I think now, yeah, it's a business, but we've been through worse. Let somebody else come in, or now training other people to come under you, and just try and lessen your load.
I've tried, but sorry to say, most of the time there's a bad reputation on tailors.
Yes. Tailors have a bad reputation.
Yeah, and for me, I'm so keen on my timing, and I don't like disappointing that thing of come tomorrow, come today, come tomorrow. And to try and not have that happen, it's kind of hard finding people you can trust fully to work on your business, like to help you so much. So you are still needed to be fully involved in it somehow. But I'm looking and praying, because I really need God to guide me on somebody who will not be lying, you know, not saying, because, you know, an outfit is needed by tomorrow at this time. Please, let's make sure we deliver it by that time. So now finding, at this point, I can only rely on me. So if I'm not the one handling it, then I'd better not take something that I will not be able to deliver. But if I have somebody, then maybe I have to give them weeks earlier or days earlier and be there on their toes, like, are you done? How far you gone? So it still needs me to be there to supervise and make sure that we deliver on time, because we don't want to be those people who also are heading towards, those people, no, just leave them alone. They won't
you
deliver
don't play into the stereotype.
Yes, I don't like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, being a designer comes with its own challenges. At the top of it being trying to have a very creative piece, but at the same time, it's still functional designs. Sometimes somebody will see something on a runway and
I want that.
Screenshot sends to my tailor, and you're like, you know what? This only works in runways where you wait for 5 minutes and that's it. It's not a practical thing to wear. It's not functional as an outfit. So now how do you merge those two, creativity and high-end and fashion and still functional?
It's a hard thing at times. Like mostly, let's say for instance, a client comes and they're giving you this thing and it's not adding up. So you have to talk to them for hours to convince them and show them this actually will not work. So it's hard to convince some, but I make sure I do my best and try to tell you this will not work, or with your body shape this will not go. Let's try this one. And glad somehow most of them will kind of trust me, because I get to find most of my clients nowadays come and say, I don't know what I want, but this is the event I'm going for, and the color, maybe this is the color, if they have a color theme, could you just work something out for me? And I've had clients who come, who I signed delivery for, and they've not even seen what I've worked on. So I love such who trusts me like that. Then it puts me in a spot where I need to deliver my best, something that will be functionable, something that they will wear again and again, something that will be worth their money. And that one now gives me more satisfaction at the end of the day when I've delivered and merged all those, the creativity, the functionality, and also going with the body types of the people. And speaking of body types, it's a bit of unconventional conversation to have with somebody, because people are very sensitive about how they look. There's how they actually look and how they think they look. So sometimes do you find yourself thinking, will I be insensitive if I point out, or will they just take home the design they wanted and then get on social media and blame the tailor? We get blamed a lot. So yes, sometimes it's a hard place to be at, because most of the times I deal with ladies, of course the men too, but most of the times the ladies, and we are the ones who have those insensitive, like you don't feel like I don't want like somebody to talk about my shape or something.
A bit of insecurity. So I get to have, those are the moments I pray and ask God for words to use, because I don't want to come up, I can be very blunt, so I don't want to come out so blunt and hurt somebody, because I've also found it's beyond the clothes, because sometimes I deal with people who have emotional issues that I have to handle, and I have to be sensitive enough, and sometimes if I don't have the right words, I'll have to pray and ask God to give me a way to go around it. And for instance, if somebody comes and they have insecurities around the bust area, and the design they're giving me, I'm seeing this is going to even make them feel worse. I'll have to talk to them and say, I think you might look good if we did this, it might look better, and this we can change here just to modify, so that I don't give you what you've seen on the internet, I give you what suits your body. So trust me, let me do it. If it backfires, then I'll be the one to be blamed. But there are also those that are hard to convince. And I've had people carry clothes and I'm like, oh no, I hope she never wears that. That's difficult.
Yeah, like, oh no, I hope she never says I'm the one that made that,
Yeah.
or ever wears it. But they still wear, and some of them will complain. Why is it looking like this? I'm like, that's what I was trying to explain. Yeah, and at the end of the day, you still need to pay me my full amount of money. So it's a hard conversation to have. We're still trying to find the right way to go around it.
Yeah. Okay. And here is Dorcas just breaking stereotypes about tailors and going against the grain. Amesema, not all tailors are the same, not all designers are the same. And thank you so much for availing yourself for, you know, for all of this and having this conversation with us. But before we leave, where can we find you on social media or a physical location?
So on social media, I am on Instagram, I'm Mave Classics, M-A-V-E Classics. That's where you'll find me. Physically, I'm in Ngong, but I also we can always agree to meeting up. It depends on someone's schedule. So sometimes we can agree on a common place where we can meet up and just talk. Yeah, and agree, and even deliveries we can deliver. Yeah, but if you're able to make it physically to where I am, it's always the best. Yeah.
Okay, that is awesome. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. And as always, my name is Turife, and I will see you next week.